Do you know why most never win? Because they play numbers but never play words. They trust chance, but they never command law. I have the formula. I have spoken it. And I will speak it now so you can see money move by decree. In this teaching, I will show you the formula that 99% ignore the law that turns chance into certainty. You will see why the world buys and loses, while the one who speaks and commands receives. You will learn how to bless numbers, how to charge them with word, how to release the magnetic pull that brings money by divine right. This is not luck, this is not guessing, this is law. And once you know it, you will never play small again. You may have played before, you may have prayed before, you may have bought tickets and felt your heart sink as the numbers flashed across the screen. You said to yourself, it's all chance, it's all luck. Some are chosen, I am not. That is the great mistake. Luck is chance, law is certain. And I will show you tonight that the lottery itself is not outside of divine law. It obeys the same power, the same decree, the same word. The 99 never know this, so they spend and lose. But the one who speaks with authority, who blesses numbers, who commands supply, sees increase where others see defeat. Stay with me, for this truth will overturn everything you thought about winning. Here's what we will cover together. First, I will reveal the mistake most make, the error that keeps 99 out of 100 forever losing. Then, I will show you the secret formula, the words that charge your numbers with law, the decree that turns digits into magnets. You will hear stories of sudden supply, money appearing in perfect ways, not by chance but by decree. And before we finish, I will give you the master affirmation, the very one I use myself to seal your word into every number you touch. Stay until the end, because that one affirmation will open your eyes, and once you speak it, you will never again treat the lottery as luck. You will know it as law. Most people never stop to ask themselves why 99 out of 100 players lose, why they buy the ticket, wait with trembling hope, only to find disappointment again and again. They think it is chance, they call it luck, they blame fate, and they never realize that divine law cannot be bent to luck, that the infinite never works by accident, that the subconscious cannot obey randomness. And this, my beloved, is the first great mistake, the illusion of chance, the lie that keeps men and women bound to failure. What I am about to say may sound against all the world's teaching, but it is the difference between those who waste and those who win. The law of life is not chance, the law of life is command. When you put your trust in chance, you put your trust in fear. For chance always whispers, what if it does not work? What if it does not come? What if it fails? Fear creeps in, doubt takes root, and both fear and doubt are magnets, but they are magnets for loss, not gain. The subconscious cannot follow a coin tossed in the air. It cannot obey scattered, hoping. It cannot produce results from confusion. The subconscious obeys one thing only, a clear decree. And if you will not give it one, it will default to the old records of fear that you have impressed upon it for years. So long as you lean on luck, you lean on slavery, because you bind yourself to the shifting winds of appearance. But when you lean on law, when you stand in command, when you speak with authority, you are free. Because law cannot waver, law cannot change, law cannot fail. Let me give you an example. I once told the story of a businessman who feared he would lose everything. He had but minutes before his opportunity would vanish. To the reasoning mind, it was hopeless. But instead of surrendering to chance, instead of trembling in fear, he spoke with authority. The money I need appears. Now, under grace, in perfect ways. He did not guess, he did not beg, he commanded. And within that very short time, the supply came. His opportunity was saved, his fear was dissolved, his faith was justified. Do you see? He did not live by chance, he lived by law, and law, once invoked, cannot fail. So I ask you plainly, how long will you keep throwing your money into the pit of chance? How long will you keep trusting in the luck of the world, which never comes, which never lasts, which always disappoints? Will you be like the 99, who buy, who hope, who lose? Or will you rise into the place of the one who commands, who blesses, who declares, who knows that his word carries power and that divine law must obey? For the lottery is not outside of God, it is not beyond the law, it is not immune to decree, it is subject to the same truth that governs every dollar, every door, every opportunity. And once you see this, once you grasp it, You will never again be fooled by the illusion of chance, for you will know that there is only law, and law is certain. And this brings us to the next error, one even more common, one that binds more tightly than the first, the error of begging. Because it is not only chance that defeats the 99, it is also their posture of pleading, their habit of supplication, their refusal to speak as commanders. Stay with me now, because when you see the folly of begging, and when you learn to replace it with authority, you will step into the very formula that only 1% ever touch. Now let me unfold before you the second great mistake, and it is one that most of the world does without even knowing they are doing it, for they think it is humility, they think it is devotion, they think it is prayer. But in truth, it is nothing but fear in disguise. It is the act of begging. The 99 lose not only because they trust chance, but because when they approach the infinite, when they speak to God, when they stand before supply, they come as beggars, not as sons and daughters. They come as slaves, not as heirs. They come with trembling hands, asking and pleading, instead of standing in authority and commanding as the law itself instructs. For God does not say, concerning the works of my hands, ask of me, beg of me, plead with me. No, the word is clear. Concerning the works of my hands, command ye me, command, not beg. Command, not plead. Command, because you are heir. Command, because you are covenant bearer. Command, because law responds to decree, not to desperation. When you beg, what are you saying to your subconscious? You are saying, I do not have, I am not worthy, I cannot expect. And the subconscious records that picture faithfully, it seals it, it obeys it, and your life outpictures lack. Begging multiplies the very thing you fear, for every time you plead, you confess absence, and absence attracts absence, want attracts want, fear attracts fear. That is why so many who pray in desperation never see the answer, why so many who fall to their knees in supplication rise with nothing changed, because their word has been one of weakness, not of authority, of fear, not of faith. But when you command, when you stand upright, when you speak as one who knows, this is mine by divine right, this is mine by covenant, this is mine by law, then the subconscious records a new picture, one of plenty, one of certainty, one of dominion, and life itself rearranges to fulfill that decree. I recall the story of a woman who begged me to speak the word for a certain man, A, B, that he might marry her. She wept, she pleaded, she said she could not live without him. But I told her, I will not speak for A.B. I will speak only for the divine selection, the man who belongs to you by right. She agreed, though reluctantly, and continued for a time to see A.B. as her only hope. But as she repeated the right decree, something shifted. One day she confessed, A.B. does not seem so wonderful anymore. Not long after, she met another man, one who loved her immediately, one who declared she was his ideal, one who gave her the happiness she longed for. The begging for A.B. had kept her bound to lack, but the commanding for the right one brought her true supply. This is the difference. This is the law. Begging seals absence, commanding multiplies presence. So I say to you, stop approaching your numbers, your tickets, your money, your life with the voice of a beggar. Stop saying, I hope I win, I wish I could, I pray maybe someday. That is the cry of the 99, and it binds them to loss. Start declaring, I am aligned with divine law. My supply comes swiftly. My numbers are blessed. My wealth is certain. That is the voice of the one who commands, and it is the voice the subconscious obeys. It is the voice the infinite honors. It is the voice that brings supply into visibility. Do not think it arrogance. It is alignment. Do not call it pride. It is obedience to the law. For the law itself tells you to command. And once you step into this posture, once you refuse to beg and begin to decree, you will have already left the 99 behind and joined the one who wins. And now that you have seen clearly the two errors that bind the many chance and begging, you are ready to hear the secret of the 1%, the formula they use, the law that they obey, the command they speak that never fails. Stay with me, for in the next part I will reveal what the 99 never touch, and once you hold it, you will never again be fooled by chance, never again waste your voice on begging, but you will live by law and command increase. Now that we have stripped away the illusions that bind the 99, the illusion of chance and the weakness of begging, we are ready to step into the higher ground, the place where law operates, the place where words clothe numbers with power, the place where the true formula is revealed. This may sound strange at first, for the world tells you that digits alone determine your fate, that the ticket you buy is a slip of chance, that numbers drawn by machines hold the secret. But I tell you, digits by themselves are dead. They are inert, powerless, meaningless, until you clothe them with the living garment of your word. For the scripture is clear, by thy words thou art justified, and by thy words thou art condemned. Notice, not by your numbers, not by your efforts, not by your toil, but by your words. The tongue is the scepter, the decree is the power, the spoken word is the life that animates the lifeless. And so it is with the lottery. You may hold a ticket in your hand, but unless you have charged it with faith, unless you have blessed the numbers, unless you have spoken the word over it, it remains a dead slip of paper. But the moment you clothe it with decree, it comes alive, it vibrates with law, it becomes a magnet pulling to you the supply that is yours by divine right. Think of it as you would think of the body without spirit. The form may be present, the structure may exist, but without breath it lies lifeless. Numbers are the form, but words are the breath. Numbers are the vessel, but words are the spirit. Numbers are the skeleton, but words are the flesh and blood that make it live. That is why the 99 lose. They play numbers but never play words. They trust digits but never decree law. They treat tickets as chance instead of covenant. And that is why the 1% win. They speak, they bless, they clothe, they decree. They understand that words make numbers live, that blessings multiply digits, that affirmations turn paper into magnet. I remember the story of a fog that covered a ship at sea. To the reasoning mind, it was hopeless. The way forward was blocked. But one aboard spoke the word with authority. I command this fog to lift, and it obeyed. The sun broke through, the way cleared, and what seemed impossible became simple. That is the power of the word. It can move fog, it can move doors, it can move numbers. And if a word can scatter the fog of the sea, it can scatter the fog of chance. If a word can command the elements, it can command supply. If a word can open the heavens, it can open the vaults of wealth. But you must speak it. You must dare to use the formula that 99 never touch. You must clothe your numbers in decree until they vibrate with power. So here is the secret. Every time you see a number, every time you hold a ticket, every time you think of the lottery, do not think of digits as chance. Think of them as covenant, and speak over them. Say, these numbers are blessed. They are magnets of supply. They draw to me what is mine by divine right. Do not whisper in fear, do not beg in weakness. Speak in faith, speak in certainty, speak as though heaven and earth must obey, because they will. Numbers alone cannot change your life, but numbers plus word, digits plus decree, form plus spirit, that combination is the formula. That is the secret the 99 ignore, and that is why they lose. And now that you see the principle, we must go deeper. For it is not only about clothing numbers with words, it is about blessing them, charging them with divine increase, speaking the multiplication into them, just as Christ blessed the loaves and fishes until they overflowed. Stay with me, for in the next breath I will show you how to bless your numbers so that they cannot fail to multiply, so that what looks small to the eye becomes endless in supply, so that you will never again touch digits without feeling them hum with abundance. What most people never realize, and what keeps them bound to the futility of chance, is that numbers without blessing remain barren, but numbers clothed in blessing begin to multiply. Just as surely as the loaves and fishes multiplied when Christ lifted them up, gave thanks, and broke them. The crowd saw only lack, the disciples counted scarcity, but the Master spoke abundance into the little that was there, and because he blessed it, it grew until all were fed and baskets of fragments remained. That is the picture of what happens when you bless your numbers. You may see a ticket as small, as empty, as one slip among millions, but the moment you bless it, the moment you say, "This is not chance, this is covenant, this is law," you change its vibration. You lift it out of the realm of chance into the realm of supply. You charge it with the living current of faith, and it must respond by multiplying. Fear curses, blessing multiplies. Fear shrinks, blessing expands. Fear whispers, "Not enough," blessing declares, more than enough, and the subconscious, which records every word as law, rushes to obey. I once told the story of a woman who came to me with only $2 left to her name. She could have cursed those dollars, she could have wept over them, she could have begged for more. But I taught her to bless them, to see them as endless, to declare, "This purse is crammed and jammed with money. It is filled with yellow bills, green bills, pink checks, blue checks, gold, and silver." She obeyed. She blessed instead of cursed. She declared instead of begged. Not long after, she was given $6,000, an increase far beyond what her eyes could have imagined. What changed? Not the numbers in her hand, but the word in her mouth. The two became endless because she blessed them, and the law of multiplication obeyed, and so it must be with you. Do not look at your numbers and sigh. Do not glance at your ticket and think of odds. Do not mutter about how rare the chance. That is the language of the 99, and it binds them to loss. Instead, bless your numbers as if they were already overflowing. Bless them as if they were already magnets drawing supply. Bless them as if the vaults of heaven had already opened. Say, "These numbers are multiplied under grace, in perfect ways." These numbers are not chance, they are channels. These numbers are not empty, they are crammed and jammed with supply. And as you speak, believe it, feel it, know it. For it is not superstition, it is law. The subconscious cannot resist blessing spoken with faith. It must record it, it must obey it, it must bring forth fruit. Do not be deceived by appearances. To the eye, a ticket is a slip of paper, fragile, fleeting, disposable. To the spirit, when blessed, it is a covenant, it is a seed, it is a decree written in digits and clothed in word. Treat it as such, and you will never again despise the small beginnings, for you will know that blessing turns the little into the endless. And as you continue to bless, you will feel the shift inside you, the fear dissolve, the dread depart, the joy rise, because blessing not only multiplies the outer supply, it multiplies the inner faith. And once your faith is multiplied, the results cannot be withheld, for what is sealed within must appear without. So hear me now. The formula is not only to clothe numbers with word, but to bless them with increase. Bless until you feel the joy of multiplication. Bless until your subconscious hums with certainty. Bless until your numbers feel alive with power. For once you do, the law has no choice but to obey. The supply has no option but to appear. The increase has no delay but to come swiftly, sometimes even by morning. And now that you see how blessing multiplies, we must go one step further, into the very core of the formula, into the affirmation that acts as a magnet, pulling to you all that is yours by divine right. Stay with me, for in the next part, I will hand you that affirmation, the decree that has never failed me, the very phrase that turns numbers into law and makes wealth obey without struggle. And now, beloved, I bring you to the heart of the mystery, to the very decree that binds all these truths together, to the affirmation that 99 never touch, and yet, the one who dares to speak it becomes as a magnet that nothing can resist. I tell you, the secret formula is not complicated, it is not hidden in codes, it is not buried in chance, it is spoken in the simplest of words, but it carries the whole weight of divine law. The formula is this: I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. Say it once, and it begins to move. Say it often, and it cuts a groove into your subconscious that cannot be erased. Say it with faith, and it pulls to you the supply that belongs to you, the doors that are yours, the wealth that cannot miss you. For a magnet does not chase, it does not strain, it does not sweat. It simply holds its nature, and by its nature it draws. So it is with you when you speak this word. You stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop trembling, and you stand in your true nature as one aligned with divine law. And by that alignment you draw, you pull, you command, and the supply rushes to meet you. I once told the story of a woman who longed for her rightful place in the opera. The reasoning mind told her it was impossible. The doors were closed, the chances slim. But she held to this affirmation. She declared, I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. My role appears, my supply appears, my door opens. She said it until it vibrated in her bones, until it rang in her subconscious like a bell. And soon the opportunity opened, the role was offered, and what had seemed impossible became her reality. She did not chase, She did not beg. She did not plead. She magnetized. She drew. She commanded. This is the power of the formula. This is the secret 99 never use. So I say to you, every time you hold a ticket, every time you choose numbers, every time you think of supply, speak this affirmation. Do not say, I hope I win, for hope is weak. Do not say, maybe someday, for someday never comes. Say with boldness, I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. Let the words roll with rhythm. Let them cut deep into the subconscious. Let them rise with authority. And as you speak, imagine the pull. Imagine the supply rushing to you. Imagine the doors opening. Imagine the money growing by morning. Feel it as certain, for the law cannot resist such decree. Do not underestimate the simplicity. The infinite always hides its greatest laws in the smallest acts. A seed looks small, yet it holds a forest. A word sounds light, yet it holds a world. This affirmation may seem short, but it carries the vibration of dominion, the rhythm of command, the certainty of law. And if you will speak it faithfully, if you will bless your numbers with it, if you will repeat it until your whole being hums with it, you will find yourself drawing opportunities, channels, and supply from quarters you never imagined. Doors will open, gifts will appear, money will flow, because you will no longer be playing chance, you will be living law. So take this formula, hold it, guard it, speak it. Make it the rhythm of your day, the seal upon your digits, the decree over your affairs. For once it becomes yours, once it is planted in your heart, once it is etched into your subconscious, you will never again be among the 99 who lose. You will be among the one who commands, the one who draws, the one who wins. And now, having received the formula, let us look at how swiftly it works, how it often brings supply not by slow struggle, not by long waiting, but suddenly, overnight, so that you wake to find increase standing before you. Stay with me, for the next unveiling is the overnight law of increase, and once you grasp it, you will know why money so often grows by morning. Now we come to a part of the teaching that has startled many who first heard it, because it overturns the world's idea of time, of waiting, of long delays, and it shows you how swiftly divine law can act when you align with it. The world teaches you to expect delay, to prepare for disappointment, to live with the thought that everything takes a long time, that abundance is slow, that wealth must crawl, that what you ask for today might only appear years from now if it appears at all. But I tell you, this is not law. This is only doubt dressed up as wisdom, and it keeps multitudes bound in lack. For the law of life is immediate, the subconscious is always at work, and once impressed with faith and command, it begins to rearrange your affairs at once, often while you are asleep, so that the answer stands before you in the morning. That is why I say money grows by morning, because the work of faith is done while the reasoning mind rests, and when you awake, the increase has already been set in motion. I have seen this too many times to call it coincidence. I knew a woman who had only $8 to her name. To the natural eye she was defeated, to the world she was finished, but she chose to follow a hunch, to speak her word, to act in faith. She did not wait to see before declaring. She declared first, she acted as if it were done, she expected without wavering. Not long after, channels opened, opportunities appeared, and she received thousands of dollars. It looked sudden, but it had been prepared the moment she spoke and acted. The subconscious had moved unseen, arranging the details, shifting the channels, opening the door, and the supply appeared just in time. That is the overnight law of increase. You speak in faith, you act as if it is done, you expect with certainty, and then you rest. While you rest, the law does not sleep. While you dream, the subconscious is awake. While you wait in peace, the infinite arranges the supply, and when morning comes, what you spoke in secret is revealed in the open. I also recall the story of a woman pressed for her rent money. She had no idea where it would come from, but she spoke her decree. The money I need comes quickly, easily, under grace, in perfect ways. That very night, as she walked her dog, the leash pulled her down a street she did not usually take, and there, on the ground, lay a roll of bills, enough to pay her rent exactly. Was it chance? Was it luck? No, it was law. Law operating overnight, law arranging the details, law pulling her steps in perfect timing to the very place where her need was met. This is why I tell you, delay is only the child of doubt. Law is never late, law is never slack, Law moves in the instant faith commands. So how do you apply this? You ask, you act, you expect. You ask not in fear but in faith, declaring clearly what is yours by divine right. You act as though it is already done, preparing the place, setting the table, digging the ditch, making room for the supply. And then you expect, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You expect it as certain as the dawn. You rest in the assurance that while you sleep, the law is arranging the channels, and you rise in the morning to find the need already met. This is why I tell you to stop living in the shadow of delay. To stop saying, maybe one day. To stop imagining that increase must be slow. Speak it, act it, expect it, and then rest. For money grows by morning, health springs forth at dawn, doors open in the night season, and what you declared becomes flesh before your eyes. So, take this truth and bind it to your heart. Delay belongs to doubt, but increase belongs to faith. And when you live by faith, when you ask, act, and expect, you step into the rhythm of the overnight law, the law that works even as you sleep, the law that brings supply as swiftly as the sunrise, the law that proves again and again that divine timing is perfect. And now that you see how swiftly the law moves, we must look at how your very numbers tie into the larger pattern of life, how they reflect not only wealth, but the fourfold covenant of health, love, self-expression, and prosperity. Stay with me, for in the next unveiling, I will show you how your digits are not random, but are the very reflection of the divine design, the square of life itself. And now I will show you a truth that few have ever considered, yet once you see it, you will not be able to forget it, for it will change the way you look at every number, every code, every digit you press. For the infinite does not scatter things in disorder, the infinite does not work by accident, and the infinite hides its pattern in plain sight, and numbers are one of the vessels it uses to carry law. The world tells you that numbers are cold, mechanical, neutral, but I tell you they are alive with symbolism, they are charged with vibration, they are woven into the fabric of divine design. And of all the numbers, the most complete, the most stable, the most perfect is the number 4. For 4 is the number of wholeness, 4 is the number of the square of life, 4 is the number that seals the foundation. Think of the 4 winds that sweep the earth, think of the 4 rivers that watered the garden, think of the 4 corners of the foundation that hold up the whole house. And so it is with you. Your life is built upon 4 corners: health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. And when these 4 are balanced, you are whole. But when one is cracked, the whole structure leans. Now consider this. The lottery ticket in your hand, the PIN you type, the code you use, is made of 4 digits. This is no accident, no empty choice, but a reflection of the divine design, a reminder given to you daily that your life rests on 4 pillars, that your covenant covers 4 corners. And each digit you press, each number you choose, each figure you see, corresponds to one of these corners. One digit mirrors your health, another mirrors your wealth, another mirrors your love, another mirrors your perfect self-expression. When you press them in fear, you fracture the square. When you bless them in faith, you seal the square. Every act becomes an echo of this pattern. Every repetition, a sealing of the design, every decree, a strengthening of the foundation. Do you see now why I say numbers are not dead? Do you see now why I say digits are not chance? They are covenant, they are design, they are a square in miniature, a pattern in your very hand. Think of the builder who measures his foundation. He does not guess at one corner and hope the others follow. He measures all 4, he checks the line, he ensures the square is true, because he knows the strength of the whole house rests upon the harmony of the corners. So it is with you. If you chase only wealth and neglect health, your house tilts. If you long for love but neglect self-expression, your pattern warps. If you press numbers with fear, the subconscious records imbalance. But if you bless each corner, if you decree health, wealth, love, and expression together, then the pattern is whole, the square is true, the foundation stands, and your life rises stable, abundant, and unshakable. This is the divine design written in digits, and it is offered to you each day as a reminder and a covenant. So from this moment on, when you press your 4 digits, do not press them thoughtlessly, do not see them as plastic, do not treat them as routine, see them as the 4-fold covenant. Let the first remind you of health and bless it. Let the second remind you of wealth and decree it. Let the third remind you of love and give thanks for it. Let the fourth remind you of perfect self-expression and declare it. And as you do, you are not only sealing your numbers, you are sealing your life. You are impressing the subconscious with wholeness. You are declaring to the infinite that your square is true, and the law will outpicture it with health restored, wealth multiplied, love harmonized, and expression freed. This is the mystery the 99 never see, but you now hold it. And once you know it, you can never return to treating numbers as empty. You can never go back to pressing digits in fear, for you will know that every press is a covenant renewed, every act is a pattern sealed, every number is a decree spoken into the foundation of your life. And when this pattern is sealed, when the four corners stand firm, supply flows naturally, abundance moves without strain, wealth appears by law, because the foundation is true. And in the next unveiling, I will show you how to seal this design so deeply into your subconscious that it cannot be shaken. How to impress it with such repetition and decree that it becomes unerasable, so that the divine pattern holds you steady and prosperity flows without end. And now that you have seen how the 4 digits mirror the fourfold covenant of life, health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression, I must show you how to seal this pattern so firmly into your being that nothing can shake it, no fear can crack it, no doubt can erase it. For divine design is eternal, it is written already in the mind of God. But you must impress it upon your own subconscious, you must agree with it, you must repeat it until it is carved into your inner being like grooves on a record that cannot be worn away. This is the power of repetition, this is the gift of ritual, this is why every press of your digits matters, because each repetition cuts deeper, each decree drives further, each act seals the design more firmly, until it becomes unmovable, until it becomes unerasable, until it becomes the law of your own experience. I remember the man who longed for a new apartment. To the reasoning mind, it was impossible, no money, no channel, no open doors. But he was told to prepare, to dig his ditches, to act as if it were already done. He went and bought blankets, for he said, "I will need these in my new place." To others it looked foolish, to the doubting it seemed childish, but to the law it was covenant, it was faith in action, it was repetition of decree. And soon, the apartment appeared, exactly right, perfectly timed, given to him without struggle. Why? Because the pattern was sealed, the subconscious could no longer deny it. The act had cut the groove, the law had obeyed. This is the proof that repetition is never wasted, that sealing the pattern is the way to make the invisible visible. So I tell you, never despise the small act, never dismiss the repeated word, never think it vain to say the same blessing over and over. For it is not vanity, it is sealing. Each time you bless your digits, each time you declare health, wealth, love, and expression over them, you drive the pattern deeper. Each time you repeat the affirmation, "I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right," you engrave it more firmly. Each time you press the numbers with faith instead of fear, you strengthen the foundation, and soon the subconscious, which cannot resist consistency, must obey, must outpicture the sealed design, must bring forth the wholeness you have decreed. And this is why those who play chance never prosper long, for chance has no pattern, chance cannot be sealed, chance leaves no groove for the subconscious to follow. But law is different. Law thrives on repetition. Law multiplies by consistency. Law is sealed by decree. When you repeat the blessing, when you rehearse the pattern, when you press the digits with authority again and again, you are not wasting time, you are cutting the channel, you are laying the foundation, you are sealing the design. And when it is sealed, it cannot be lost, it cannot be stolen, it cannot be shaken. It becomes as certain as sunrise, as sure as gravity, as fixed as the stars. So from this day forward, see every act as sealing. When you choose numbers, bless them. When you hold a ticket, decree over it. When you press a code, see the fourfold covenant in it. When you repeat the affirmation, speak it until it vibrates in your bones. Do not worry if you feel nothing at first. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. Each repetition cuts deeper, each blessing multiplies, each decree strengthens the pattern. And soon the divine design will be so firmly sealed in your subconscious that no appearance of lack can shake you, no shadow of fear can move you, no whisper of doubt can erase you. You will know that the square of life is yours, that your foundation is true, that your covenant is sealed, and that prosperity flows to you not by chance but by law. And once you have sealed the design, once the four corners stand firm, you are ready to rise into the highest posture of all, the posture of command. For it is not enough to bless, not enough to repeat, not enough to seal. You must also live as one who commands, never again begging, never again doubting, never again playing chance, but walking each day in the certainty of law. Stay with me, for in the next part I will show you how to stop begging forever and to start commanding, how to walk in dominion daily, how to treat every number, every ticket, every act of exchange as a decree, until wealth flows as naturally as breath. And now that the pattern is sealed, now that you know how to bless and decree until the subconscious itself becomes the faithful servant of your word, we step into the highest posture of all, the posture of command. For it is here that most falter, it is here that the 99 fail. For even after they have heard the law, even after they have tasted blessing, they slip back into the old ways of pleading and hoping. They look at appearances and they bow. They whisper timid prayers instead of bold decrees. But you must not fall into this snare, for begging is the language of lack, hoping is the posture of fear, and both shut the door on supply. Command is the language of law, declaration is the rhythm of faith, and both open the gates of abundance. Do you not hear the word of Scripture, clear as thunder, concerning the works of my hands, command ye me? It does not say plead, it does not say whimper. It does not say wonder if perhaps God may one day favor you. It says command, speak as one in covenant, speak as one who knows. Speak as one whose word is law, because it echoes the law already written in heaven. I once told the story of a businessman who stood on the brink of ruin. He needed funds, and he needed them not tomorrow, not next week, but within 15 minutes, or all was lost. To the natural mind, it was finished. To the eyes of flesh, it was hopeless. But he knew the law, and instead of giving in to fear, instead of begging for mercy, he declared, "The supply I need appears now, under grace, in perfect ways." He spoke it with authority. He commanded it as law, and within that very quarter hour, the money was placed in his hand, the opportunity was saved, the ruin dissolved. Was it luck? No. Was it chance? No. It was law responding to command. It was decree clothing digits with power. It was dominion proving itself in the face of appearance. This is the difference between those who lose and the one who wins. The 99 beg, the one commands. So I ask you, will you go on approaching your numbers, your tickets, your life, with the voice of a beggar, whispering, "I hope, I wish, maybe someday"? Or will you rise into your rightful posture and declare, "I am a commander of divine law, I speak and it is done, I decree and it appears. My numbers are blessed, my supply is swift, my wealth is certain"? For once you begin to live this way, once you refuse the language of lack and take up the tongue of authority, your whole being shifts, your subconscious records a new law, and your affairs rearrange to obey it. It is not arrogance, it is obedience. It is not pride, it is alignment. For you were never meant to beg before heaven. You were meant to command with heaven. And when you do, the law cannot resist, the supply cannot delay, the increase cannot fail. So let this be your practice. Every time you touch a ticket, command. Every time you press number, decree. Every time you speak of supply, speak as though you already stand within it. Say, "This is mine by divine right. This is sealed in law. This comes swiftly, under grace, in perfect ways." Say it not once but often, not timidly but boldly, not with a question but with certainty. And as you live in this posture, as you make it your daily rhythm, you will find that money no longer feels like a chase, wealth no longer feels like a struggle, supply no longer feels like a distant dream. It becomes natural, it becomes certain, it becomes obedient to your word, because you are no longer living under chance, you are living under command. And in the next part, I will show you how to walk in this daily, how to make wealth not an event but a practice, how to treat every transaction as decree, every exchange as covenant, until abundance flows as naturally as the air you breathe. And now I will show you the daily rhythm of wealth, for it is not enough to command once and then forget, not enough to decree in a moment of desperation and then slip back into fear, not enough to declare on Sunday and collapse into doubt on Monday. Law does not fail, but you must walk in it, you must rehearse it, you must let it become the very breath of your being. Wealth is not an event, it is a practice. Abundance is not a chance happening, it is a daily covenant renewed with every word you speak, with every digit you press, with every exchange you make. The 99 think winning is a single moment. One lucky ticket, one fortunate break, one twist of fate. But the one who truly lives in law knows that every act is a decree, every step is a seed, every transaction is an affirmation of supply. This is why I say the daily walk of wealth is the true winning formula. For when you live each day in command, your life itself becomes a magnet, and abundance cannot stay away from you. Think of Ali Baba standing before the cave. The treasure was within, the gold and jewels were already there, but the door was shut, the way was barred. He did not push, he did not strain, he did not beg. He spoke the word, "Open, sesame," and the rock obeyed. The door swung wide, the wealth poured forth. That is the picture of your daily life. Every time you go to the store, every time you write a check, every time you enter a code, you are standing before a cave filled with supply. If you mutter in fear, if you complain of lack, the door stays shut. If you beg for it to open, nothing moves. But if you speak the word, if you declare with faith, "I am supplied in perfect ways, my wealth flows without end, my digits are blessed," then the cave opens, the supply rushes out, the treasure is placed in your hand. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, until every transaction is a miracle, every act is a command, every day is a demonstration of law. So, let me show you how to walk in this. Each morning, before you touch money, speak the affirmation, "I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. My supply is endless, my wealth grows by morning." Each time you press a code, see the fourfold covenant: health, wealth, love, self-expression, and bless each digit as a corner of your foundation. Each time you spend, say, "This is multiplied under grace, it returns to me increased 1,000-fold." Each time you receive, give thanks, for thanksgiving seals the blessing. And each night, as you rest, declare, "While I sleep, the law is at work, arranging my supply, preparing my increase, and in the morning I will see it." Make this your rhythm, your habit, your practice. And soon the subconscious will be so saturated with law that it cannot record fear, it cannot obey lack, it cannot respond to chance. It will play only one record: abundance, multiplication, wealth without end. This is the daily walk of wealth, the practice that keeps the door open, the rhythm that keeps the supply flowing. And when you live this way, you no longer fear loss, you no longer chase money, you no longer wonder if the supply will come. You know it is certain, you know it is constant, you know it is covenant. And this, beloved, is the final step to live not by chance, not by begging, not by occasional bursts of faith, but by steady command, daily decree, continual blessing, until your life itself becomes a testimony that divine law never fails. And now, having walked with me through the errors of the 99 and the secret of the 1%, through the blessing of numbers, the magnet of affirmation, the overnight law of increase, the sealing of the divine design, and the daily walk of wealth, we come to the close of this teaching. And in that close, I will seal this truth upon you with a final affirmation, a final challenge, and a call to step into the next revelation, the next key that will open even greater treasures. Stay with me, for the ending is not the end, but the opening of another door. And now, beloved, as we draw this teaching to its close, I want you to pause and feel the weight of what you have heard, for it is not mere words, it is not theory, it is not suggestion. It is divine law clothed in speech, it is covenant spoken aloud, it is the rod of authority placed in your hand. You have seen clearly why 99 out of 100 lose, why they throw away their money, why they plead, why they beg, why they hope in chance and receive only disappointment. And you have seen also the way of the one, the secret formula that 99 never touch, the truth that numbers without words are dead, the revelation that blessing multiplies, the affirmation that magnetizes, the overnight law that brings supply by morning, the divine design hidden in 4 digits, and the daily walk of wealth that turns every act into covenant. You now stand with the key in your hand, and the only question that remains is, will you use it? I charge you, do not go back to the old way. Do not Return to chance. Do not bow to fear. Do not waste your breath on begging. From this day forward, live by command. Speak the affirmation until it is carved into your heart. I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. My numbers are blessed, my words are law, my supply comes swiftly, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it when you wake, say it as you walk, say it as you press your code, say it until your subconscious can hear nothing else. For the law cannot ignore such decree, the subconscious cannot resist such rhythm, the supply cannot delay once such word is spoken. And I leave you with this challenge: do not test this lightly, but practice it faithfully. Speak the formula, bless your numbers, seal the design, walk daily in command. And when the increase comes, and it will give thanks. For thanksgiving multiplies the blessing, thanksgiving seals the covenant, thanksgiving opens even greater doors. You will find yourself laughing at how the old fears once held you, how the old doubts once bound you, how the old way of chance once deceived you. For you will know by demonstration that divine law never fails, that your word is your wand, that your digits are your covenant, that your wealth grows by morning, under grace, in perfect ways. And before we part, I will open one more door, for numbers are only half the story. There is a word, a single word, more ancient than digits, more powerful than codes, a word that when spoken in faith moves money faster than numbers, commands supply with swiftness, opens doors without resistance. Most never speak it, most never know it, but in my next teaching I will place it in your mouth. I will give you that word, I will show you how to wield it, and you will see wealth obey with even greater speed. So do not stop here. Click through, follow into the next revelation, take hold of the next key, and let me show you the word that crowns the formula, the decree that no force of lack can withstand. And before I release you, let us linger here in the place of sealing, for it is not enough to have heard, not enough to have nodded in agreement, not enough to have felt a thrill for a moment. You must let this truth sink into your spirit. You must let it run through your mind until it becomes rhythm. You must let it saturate your subconscious until it becomes the only song it can play back. For the 99 will walk away unchanged, they will return to their talk of luck, they will shuffle back to their old habits of fear, they will cling again to the illusion of chance, and so they will remain among the losing. But you, who have stayed, who have listened, who have dared to open your heart to this word, you must not let it slip, you must not let it fade, you must not let it be stolen from you by the voice of doubt or the weight of appearances. You must carry it with you, rehearse it, speak it, live it, until it becomes the very air you breathe. Take this declaration and write it upon your spirit. I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. My numbers are blessed, my words are law, my supply comes swiftly, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it with me now, not as a whisper of hope, but as a decree of authority. Say it until the walls of your mind vibrate with it. Say it until the old pictures of lack and loss dissolve. Say it until the subconscious, that faithful servant, records nothing else. And once it is sealed within you, it cannot be erased, it cannot be overturned, it cannot be denied. The law will obey, the supply will come, the wealth will appear, because the word once spoken in faith is law, and law never fails. And let me remind you once more, do not shrink back into begging, do not bow to chance, do not surrender to delay. You are not a beggar at the gate, you are a commander within the treasury. You are not a victim of numbers. You are the master who clothes them with decree. You are not bound by luck, you are aligned with prosin, law. Walk each day in this truth, and you will find the increase comes naturally. The supply flows easily. The doors swing open, because heaven itself rushes to obey the word you have spoken in faith. But this, beloved, is not the end, it is only the beginning. For I have given you the formula, I have shown you how to bless, how to decree, how to seal, how to command. Yet there is a word beyond numbers, a word beyond formulas, a word that carries ancient power, a word that moves wealth with swiftness greater than digits, a word that even the 99 would not dare to utter, but that I will place in your mouth if you will follow me into the next teaching. So do not stop here, for the vault of law has more doors, and I hold the keys. Step through, Hear the next revelation, receive the word that crowns them all, and you will never again wonder if supply will come, you will know it must. And now, as this chapter of truth draws to a close, I want you to feel the ground you now stand upon, for it is not the shaky soil of chance, not the trembling floor of luck, not the shifting sands of begging and delay, but the solid rock of divine law, the firm foundation of decree, the square of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression sealed beneath your feet. You have walked with me through the errors that bind the 99. You have seen the illusion of chance torn away. You have seen the folly of begging exposed. You have learned how to clothe numbers with words, how to bless digits until they multiply, how to speak the magnetic affirmation that draws supply without effort, how to rest in the overnight law of increase, how to see the fourfold covenant in every code, how to seal the divine design with repetition, and how to live each day in command, turning every act into covenant and every moment into decree. This, beloved, is a treasure house already overflowing, and yet it is only the beginning, for divine law is endless, and each revelation leads to another. Each key opens a greater door, each word draws a deeper supply. So I tell you now, do not treat this as the end. Do not walk away satisfied with only half the storehouse opened. There is more. There is always more. The infinite is never exhausted, the supply is never dry, the truth is never finished. And though I have given you the formula that 99 never touch, though I have placed in your hand the affirmation that makes you a magnet, though I have shown you how to bless and command until wealth appears by morning, there is still one greater key, one greater word, one decree that crowns them all. It is a word so ancient that it echoes in Scripture, a word so powerful that it has parted seas and toppled walls, a word so immediate that when spoken in faith it makes money move swifter than digits, doors open faster than chance, supply arrive before you can reason how. Most never know it, most never speak it, most never dare to test it, but I will give it to you. I will place it in your mouth. I will show you how to wield it in my next teaching. So let your heart be filled with expectancy, let your spirit lean forward, let your mind hunger for the next unveiling. For what you have learned today has already shifted your ground, already turned you from the 99 into the one who commands, already sealed you into covenant. But what you will learn next will set fire to your word, will quicken your decree with a force the world cannot resist, will give you the single syllable that heaven itself bends to hear and earth itself rushes to obey. Do not miss it, do not delay, do not turn back to the old ways of chance, for you are being invited to the higher law, to the deeper mystery, to the final key. Click forward, step through the open door, follow me into the next revelation, and I will show you the word that crowns the formula, the command that makes wealth obey at once, the decree that no force of lack can withstand. And before we close this journey fully, let me stretch the vision of your spirit even further. For it is not enough that you hold the formula in your hand if you do not also step into the larger destiny for which it was given. This teaching has not been for your ears alone, nor for the thrill of hearing secret things, nor for the fleeting hope of sudden riches. No, beloved, it has been to awaken you to your true identity as one who commands law, as one who lives by decree, as one who walks no longer in shadows of fear but in the clear light of divine authority. For the 99 will continue to play with chance, to plead in weakness, to mutter in despair, and they will reap exactly what they sow: disappointment, lack, futility. But you are now of the 1% who knows, who sees, who dares to speak, who understands that life is not governed by odds but by order, not by luck but by law, not by silence but by the spoken word. And yet I tell you, even this is but the beginning. For if you have felt the power of blessing numbers, if you have seen the strength of sealing the fourfold covenant, if you have grasped the magnet of affirmation that draws without effort, then prepare yourself for the greater unveiling, for the infinite has more to give. There is a word, a single word, hidden in plain sight, ancient and eternal, a word that when uttered in faith shifts the currents of supply faster than any formula, a word that speaks to the heart of heaven and is answered without delay. I will not give it here, for it belongs to the next revelation, but I set it before you like an open door, like a treasure chest just waiting for your hand. And when you step through, when you hear it, when you speak it, you will know that nothing can stand against you, no wall of lack can remain, no chain of fear can bind you. For this word is the crown of command, the seal of dominion, the key to treasures beyond measure. So let your spirit lean forward with expectation. Let your heart rise in faith. Let the whole being hum with the certainty that you have been chosen to hear, to know, to declare. Do not let the old doubts whisper you back into silence. Do not let appearances trick you into chance. Do not let fear steal what has been planted in you. Hold fast to the formula you have received. Repeat it until it lives in your bones. Bless your numbers until they vibrate with supply. Declare daily until your subconscious cannot resist but to obey. And then, with that foundation firm beneath your feet, step boldly into the next revelation, for there the crown awaits, there the greater key will be given, there the word will be placed in your mouth that seals forever your command of wealth. Follow me there, for the infinite has not finished with you. The law has more to show you, and the supply is waiting even now for your decree. And now, beloved, as I draw the curtain on this chapter, I would not leave you standing at the threshold without pressing this truth into your very soul, for it must not slip from you, it must not fade, it must not be stolen by the whisper of fear or the mockery of appearances. You have been handed something far greater than a secret to chance, a winning ticket. You have been handed the law itself, the formula that 99 never see, the covenant that only one dares to claim. You have been shown that the world plays numbers while the wise play words, that the many bow to luck while the few command law, that the beggar pleads in vain while the commander speaks and receives. You have heard that digits alone are powerless, but clothed in decree they become living, that when blessed they multiply, that when affirmed they magnetize, that when sealed they cannot be lost, that when commanded they obey without fail. You have seen that supply often arrives not by slow toil, but suddenly, overnight, by morning, because the subconscious never sleeps and the infinite never delays when faith speaks. You have been awakened to the fourfold covenant of life: health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression hidden in your very digits, and you have been shown how to seal that pattern daily, how to walk as one who commands and not as one who begs. This, my beloved, is not theory, it is not hope, it is not chance, it is law, and law never fails. So let me leave you with this final seal, this final decree, to be spoken until it is carved upon your heart. I am an irresistible magnet for all that is mine by divine right. My numbers are blessed, my words are law, my supply comes quickly, easily, under grace, in perfect ways. Speak it as you rise, speak it as you walk, speak it as you press your digits. Speak it until every cell of your body hums with it. For when you speak it in faith, the subconscious receives it, the law obeys it, the supply arranges itself to meet it, and you will see it outpictured in your life with such swiftness and abundance that you will laugh at how long you once lived in fear. This is your covenant. This is your formula. This is your law. Take it, use it, guard it, and you will never again be numbered among the 99 who lose. And yet, though this teaching is full, it is not finished, for divine truth is endless, and every revelation opens into another. You have received the formula of numbers and words, but beyond it lies a single word, a word that has shaken kingdoms, opened seas, and commanded supply with a force swifter than any lottery draw, a word so ancient it was spoken at the dawn of creation, and so powerful it has never lost its charge. I will not speak it here, but I will speak it in the next teaching, for it deserves its own unveiling, its own moment of glory, its own place of demonstration. So step forward with me into that revelation, for what you have now is enough to multiply your wealth, but what I will give you next is enough to crown you with dominion. Follow me there, for the door stands open, the word awaits your lips, and the supply is ready to obey, and I'll tell you now, as one who has walked long in the ways of divine law and seen the marvels of its operation, that what you have been given in this teaching is enough to lift you out of the ranks of the 99 who play with chance and into the place of the one who commands with certainty. Yet even this is but a beginning, for law has no limit, truth has no boundary, revelation has no ceiling. What you have heard of numbers and blessings and affirmations is the doorway. But beyond that doorway lies a greater chamber, a treasury filled with words that move heaven itself, decrees that strike the subconscious like lightning, utterances that call forth supply swifter than the dawn. There is a word so potent, so ancient, so charged with creative fire that when spoken in faith it overturns appearances in an instant, dissolves obstacles as mist before the sun, and brings into visibility the very thing you thought far off. It is a word beyond digits, a word beyond formulas, a word that 99 have never dared to utter with conviction, and that one who does becomes master of his fate. But mark this well. You must be prepared before you speak it. For careless repetition will not do. Idle chatter will not move it. This word is to be spoken as command, breathed as decree, clothed in faith, sealed with certainty. The reason I have led you through the law of blessing numbers, the affirmation of magnetism, the sealing of the fourfold covenant, and the practice of daily command is to prepare you for this. For if you are not grounded in these, you will treat the great word as the world treats chance lightly, foolishly, without faith, and you will wonder why it does not move. But when you are rooted in law, when you know the rhythm of decree, when you understand that words are living wands, then you are ready to wield the word beyond numbers. So I bid you now, guard your spirit with expectancy, hold fast to what you have learned, let the affirmation of magnetism never leave your lips, let the blessing of digits never leave your hand, let the square of life never leave your vision. And then, when you are ready, when you have practiced until the rhythm of decree flows naturally, when your subconscious has been trained to obey without hesitation, step with me into the next revelation, where I will place upon your tongue the ancient syllable, the creative command, the word that crowns them all. With it, you will not merely bless numbers but command elements, not merely draw supply but govern it, not merely win once but live always in abundance. This is the great invitation, the open door, the higher law. Follow me there, for I will not hold it back. I will give it to you fully, clearly, boldly, and when you speak it, you will know that all you have practiced until now was preparation, all you have sealed until now was foundation, all you have declared until now was rehearsal. The real music begins when you speak the word beyond numbers, and the treasure of heaven itself answers at once.